In this episode, we begin lofting. The dimensions of the keel are transferred from the table of offsets and drawn out full size on the lofting table.
Hi, I'm Bill England of the Ambler Odysseys YouTube channel. I'm building a George Buehler designed 48-foot wooden troller yacht here in the C-Clamp boat shed in the backyard of my Summerside, Prince Edward Island, Canada home. When completed, we will sail the seven seas in search of adventure.
So now that I've marked out Station 0, which represents the furthermost point in the boat, I'm going to mark out the stations. And the stations essentially represent the frames. And they're marked out every 2 feet. So I have to make a mark every 2 feet over the 48-foot length, both on the bottom and the top, and then connect those lines, and that'll represent the station marks on the plans, and then they will represent the actual frame placement. The frame at Station 46 is the last frame in the boat. The annotations to the left of 46 are for the transom, which will slope aft from the keel up to the sheer. This boat builder's day always starts with a cup of joe and a gander over what has been accomplished thus far and the journey ahead. Marking the rabbet is one of the key marks we make. The rabbet line is where the outside of the planking meets the keel. The measurements for the rabbet line are pulled from the table of offsets, which is provided by the boat designer. Highlighted here is the mark for rabbet at Station 36. The measurements in the table of offsets are presented by 3 numbers representing feet, inches, and eighths of inches. A plus indicates an additional 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so frame 36 tells me that it's 3, 6, 3 plus. So the rabbet is at 3 feet, 6 inches, 3 plus. So 3/8, and the plus means plus a 16th. Fun stuff. So again, we'll take off the 4 inches to adjust for the baseline I've moved up. So that becomes 3, 2, 3 plus. So 3 feet, 2 inches, 3/8 plus a 16th. 3 feet 2 inches, 3 feet 2 inches, 3/8 plus a 16th, which makes it, of course, 7/16, but so measure again, reline everything up. 3 feet 2 inches and 3/8 plus a 16th. So I'll mark that in red for the rabbet. The rabbet, between even just two stations, 36 and 38, is 4 inches difference. Now I just keep going until I'm done. Frame 6. 335 plus 3. So now all the rabbet marks have been made, and a couple of the keel marks. So here we are at the bow. Probably a little hard to see, but I'll use my trusty pointer here to. So here we have station 0. Here we have station 2. And so the rabbet mark is just up here. And I have another mark here that I've labeled K. And essentially that marks the bottom of the keel here at station 2. So here you can see the rabbet, station 4, and you can hopefully get a sense of how the rabbet is sloping downwards. So here at station 14, you can see we're over a foot lower than we were just at station 2. I mentioned earlier station 14 is where the keel begins to slope upward to station 2. So you can see the distance here between where the keel will be and the rabbet, whereas up at station 2 it was just a few inches apart. And here, as we continue aft, the rabbet marks sort of bottom out on their curve. And now they start to slope upwards gently towards the stern. You can see station 32, station 34, until finally we get to station 40, about 4 feet above the baseline. And then it'll continue again, it'll slope upwards a little steeper here as we get back to the stern of the boat. And you can see here, station 46, it's quite a bit further. I can never overstate the importance of measurements, and the saying measure twice, cut once, and measure 4 times. I noticed as I was sort of just roughly looking down the rabbet line, I don't have a line in yet, but just the rabbet marks. One, it seemed to be like it's supposed to be a smooth curve, but here at station 42, it just seemed wonky. So I went back and rechecked my calculations to make sure I did this boat building math correctly, and which I did, but then when I remeasured it, I was 2 inches out. Don't ask me. Obviously going through a caffeine drought at that point the other day. So when I replot this, I'm going to remeasure it. 4, 5, 4 plus, which is 4 feet, 5 inches, 4/8 plus a 16th. So that's 9/16. Got it? All right, so let's remark this. See, I can tell already that looks better. And I'll just take another, just a quick look, and I can just by even using this ruler, I can tell that looks far better. So, mistake made, mistake found, correction made, tragedy avoided. Okay, so now using a chalk line, mark the keel, the bottom of the keel, from frame 44 to frame 14. Now it's not a flat line across the bottom of the sheets here. This marks my baseline. It's actually at frame at station 44, 3/16, or as we've learned in our lofting math, 001 plus off the baseline. So I've marked that here. And then down at frame 14, the keel is 8 inches above the baseline. It'll be a straight line, slight positive slope to it. And then once we got this done, between the bow and frame 14, the slope becomes a little bit steeper. So I'm just going to go and hammer in something to hold my chalk line down at frame 14. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. So if you look down this line, you'll be able to see the blue chalk line. We have the bottom of the keel marked. Should be able to see that blue chalk line. Rise as we get move forward at frame 30. Frame 20. Here we are at frame 14. You can see the keel mark. You probably see the little nail there. It's 8 inches above the baseline. Now I'll mark off the keel between frame 14 and the bow. So here we have the blue keel line. That's frame 2 where it ends. Forward to frame 2, between frame 2 and the stem of the boat, that keel line will curve upward into the stem. But you can see the slope that the keel will have back to the stern. Here's the transition at station 14. All right, now that I have the keel, bottom of the keel, with the chalk line, what I'm going to do now is mark at each station the height of the keel. And then this will give me pretty well a full outline of the keel structure. In the line plans, it tells me at station 14 that the top of the keel from the bottom of the keel is 2 feet 1 1/2 inches. I don't have to worry about the math from the table of offsets. This is just straight 2 feet 1 1/2 inches. So I just, as always, measurements very careful. So I've got 2 feet 1 1/2 inches. And so I'll mark with my blue marker, because I'm using that to highlight the keel lines. Mark. Station 14 and station 24, the top and bottom of the keel are parallel. Two feet 1 1/2 inches. Station 20, 2 feet 1 1/2 inches. So station 26, 2 feet 3 3/8 inches. Okay. Station 28. 5 Station 30, 2 feet 7 inches. So at the bow we saw the bottom and the top of the keel start to converge after station 14. So here after station 24, as I move aft, the bottom and top of the keel are diverging. Station 30, 2 feet 7 inches. Station 32, 2 feet 9 inches. And so now we jump up from 2 feet 9 to 3 feet 8 1/4 inch. 3 feet 8 1/4 inch. So station 36, 3 feet 6 1/4. 3 feet 6 1/4. Station 38, 3 feet 8 3/4 inches. So we're continuing to mark the top of the keel using the bottom of the keel as our reference. Now for the station 14, at station 12, this is again where the bottom of the keel takes a steeper slope up to the bow stem. And so now the top of the keel and the bottom of the keel will start converging. At station 14, we were 2 feet 1 1/2 inches. Now at station 12, we're down to 1 foot 9 3/4 inches. Now we move to station 10, where we're at 18 3/4 inches. So 1 foot 6 3/4 inches. To station 8, where we're at 15 inches 5/8. 15 5/8 inches. You can definitely see the top and bottom of the keel converging. Station 6, we're at 12 5/8 inches. Station 4, down to just 9.5 inches. I can't mark station 2 yet because I have to add just a section up forward here. So I'll leave that for another day. What we'll do next is use a batten. We'll put some nails down and use a batten, and we'll trace that curve of the rabbet, and then we'll draw that in. And then when we make our patterns, that curve will be included in the pattern. It'll be much easier to see once I use the marker on it, but you can see
line go in a nice curve all the way down. Oh, she's coming together.
Lofting day 5. Should be able to get the lines all done today. Maybe even start in some patterns. So let's get going.
Romans 6:3 says, "Do you not know that all of us who have been baptized into Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? We will die in new rising. We have been made new. When we say made complete, there's a big difference. You know, as an example, my father-in-law decided he wanted to build a workshop. Some of you have probably seen it because our PI, everybody's nosy about what everyone does. That's okay. Put it along my house. I've been asked a million times, what are you building there beside your house? And my father-in-law decided he wanted to build himself a workshop on the side of our barn, which is fine. So he just started wrecking down the barn, the shed, and he
So here's a tip when you're springing up the batten to fair a curve. There's some lingo. So I've already done this, but I just want to go back and highlight. So you see how here, between the stations, the end of the batten wants to obviously go straight. So you want this overhang, because if you look here closely, as I straighten the end of this batten along that curve, you'll be able to see the batten in this move. See as I straighten that, see how that moves? So that's why you want to work 2 feet away from the end of your batten and have it secured, so essentially a station away. So that's just a little tip on when you're springing your batten. Don't work at the end of your battens, work in the middle. That's why the longer the batten, the better. I'm using 8-foot length battens and just working in the middle 4 feet, and then just slide it down as I go, and that way you'll get your fair curve. So I'm hammering this batten and using 2 nails at each station. In the next video, thin plywood strips are glued and stapled together to make a pattern of the entire keel body. The station and keel marks are marked onto the patterns and then will be transferred onto the keel after it is constructed.
For a front row seat on this do-it-yourself boat build project, please like and subscribe to the Ambler Odysseys on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.